doesn't love a good vacation? Especially when it's to a sunny, tropical place like Costa Rica. But Carly Stefanik's birthday trip to the Central American hotspot wasn't so glamorous. After her sister-in-law ditched her a day early, a random Uber driver drove Carla around town before dropping her off to her villa. Weird, right? Then, the power went out. The next morning, no one had heard from Carla, and she was reported missing. Oh, and it was her birthday. Carla Stefanik was a model, fashion blogger, photographer, and avid Instagrammer from Miami, Florida. On November 22nd, 2018, Carla took a vacation to Costa Rica to celebrate her 36th birthday with her sister-in-law, April. Carla reportedly posted a lot of photos and videos on social media while on the trip. April had to leave one day early, but Carla decided to stay an extra day so she could spend her birthday in Costa Rica, or get snatched up. Oh, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. On November 27th, Carla took April to the San Jose airport. After dropping off April, Carla returned their rental car and got an Uber back to the villa she was staying at. The Uber driver offered to take Carla on a sightseeing tour of the city before taking her back for the evening. Carla agreed. At around 5 p.m. that night, Carla's Uber driver drove her back to the villa. They arranged for him to pick her up the next morning to take her to the airport. Throughout the whole day, Carla was in touch with April. She mentioned in a conversation with April that it was raining very hard in Costa Rica. Moments later, the power went out. Carla told her sister-in-law, "It's pretty sketchy in here." Uh-oh. At midnight, April texted Carla to wish her a happy birthday. She didn't respond. Seems a bit odd for someone who's always scrolling through Instagram, right? Her family thought the same thing too. That morning, April still hadn't heard from Carla. While still worried, she first assumed Carla was busy getting to the airport for her flight back to Miami. Until one of Carla's friends called April. She told her Carla hadn't responded to her birthday messages and was concerned. Carla's family noticed that she apparently checked in for her flight from her phone, but never made it to the airport or boarded the plane. Her family then called the police to report her missing. They believed she was kidnapped. Carla's dad, brother, and friend all flew to Costa Rica to search for her. So what happened that morning? Bismarck, the security officer who was working at the villa the morning of Carla's disappearance, said she had gotten in a gray car with her luggage at 5 a.m. Carla's family didn't believe she would leave for the airport that early since her flight wasn't until 1 p.m. There was also no charges on her credit card for an Uber, or anything for that matter. At 8:30 a.m., an Uber driver showed up to take Carla to the airport. It was the same driver that showed her around town the previous night. She wasn't there. This took place after a guard shift change, so a new security guy was there. He told the driver that Carla had already left, based on the information passed along from Bismarck. The Uber driver was later brought in for questioning and said he never picked Carla up. So where did Carla go? The last person who reportedly talked to Carla said she mentioned being thirsty and wanted to leave to get water from the security guard. The guard on duty at that time was Bismarck. This was the same guard who was supposedly witnessed Carla get in a car that next morning. Seems a little #sus, don't you think? The FBI joined forces with the Costa Rican police to conduct a thorough investigation of the villa Carla was staying in. At first glance, Carla's room appeared fairly clean. Once they brought in a K9 team and forensics crew, that seemed the exact opposite. Kind of like when your room looks clean, but in reality, everything is shoved under your bed or in your closet. Officials found evidence of bodily fluid all over the room that someone attempted to cover up by repeatedly cleaning the areas with bleach and vinegar. The fluid matched Carla's DNA. Whatever happened in her room that night was concluded to be very gruesome. On December 3rd, almost 1 week after Carla's disappearance, a body was found by a search dog. Dang, these police dogs are the real MVPs. It was about 200 yards away from the villa Carla was staying in. The body was covered in plastic bags and partly buried. It was too decomposed to tell much initially, but officials verified it was a woman. After conducting a full autopsy, medical examiners concluded it was Carla. They found 7 puncture wounds and evidence of major trauma to her head. Once the remains were identified, Costa Rican officers detained the villa security guard, Bismarck, as their main suspect. Why? First of all, Bismarck was the last person Carla was planning to see that evening. Remember, she was thirsty and planned to get water from him? And the next day, Bismarck is the only person who sees her getting in a car. None of Bismarck's testimonies matched up either. In February of 2020, Bismarck was found guilty for a second-degree charge and received a 16-year sentence in prison. To this day, no one really knows the details of what happened to Carla. As more evidence is found, some officials believe this was a planned act organized by a group of people, not just Bismarck. Whatever happened to Carla that night was terrible. Honestly, I thought it was going to be that Uber driver at first. Like, who else is that friendly and that helpful? Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and stay safe, friends.